On Nationwide this evening, a programme from County Waterford as the Spraoi Festival is about to begin its 25th year, providing street entertainment for the people of the Daisha. Plus, we look back on the history of the new amenity that's attracting visitors from all over to walk, run or cycle the Waterford Greenway. You're very welcome to Nationwide, and you're very welcome to Waterford City on the river shore. Now, this city is home to many events and festivals during the year which attract visitors from near and far. Waterford is very well known for its cultural events, and one of the country's most exciting street theatre companies, Spraoi, is this year celebrating 25 years on the go. Helen McInerney has the story.
Spraoi is an international street arts festival that began in Waterford City in 1993. The first festival had 12 events. This year there are over 200, including street artists, performers and musicians from all over the world. The three-day event attracts up to 100,000 people and is held each year on the August bank holiday weekend. But when it began in 1993, many thought it would be a one-off event.
Well, in the early days we were looking for a name, and a young woman called Aoife Kimber came in and said her dad suggested we call it Spraoi. We had to ask what it meant. She said it meant celebration and exuberance. And someone said, let's go with it because it rhymes with 93. Someone else artist said, no, it won't rhyme with 194. Don't worry about it, they said, because we'll probably never do it again.
But that first festival was so successful that people began to think it could become an annual event.
This is our 25th festival. Hard to believe. In the early days, we thought we mightn't get past year one. But one thing had led to another along the way, and I suppose we were lucky and we made our own. Look, we had a great team of core artists, and I think we hadn't many policies or strategies right back in the beginning, but one thing we had decided was that as well as running a festival, we wouldn't just hire acts off the shelf, that Waterford would make its own work for this festival as well. And I think the fact that Spraoi is able to produce huge shows like the parade annually gives this festival a particular flavour and personality. It's about the place and it's about the people, so I think that gives it extra energy.
A career in the arts wasn't the obvious choice for Spraoi director and founding member TV Honan. Originally from Ennis in County Clare, his family were involved in politics, with his mother, former Senator Tras Honan, Cathaoirleach of the Seanad on 2 occasions.
My mum and indeed my dad and my granddad were involved in active politics in County Clare, but for some reason or other the gene never rubbed off on me, and for some reason or other the arts was more my calling. One of the standard lines for anyone going into the arts in Ireland is your mother says to you, when are you going to get a real job? And I think that's as true today as it was back then. But eventually families come around, and I think the most common thing I would say to young people in thinking about going into the arts these days is go ahead with it, do you know what I mean? And eventually your family will come around. It certainly did in the case of all our families here at Spraoi.
Method acting, did you ever see it like that?
Cashel native Mike Leahy is artistic director of Waterford Spraoi. He was a draftsman and worked on archaeological digs before he became involved in what was to become Spraoi.
In the early years, I suppose Mottness would have come down very early on, and we started seeing what they were doing. And then after a couple of years of looking at stuff, we decided to have a go ourselves, making stuff. So we're self-trained really, or we were self-trained at the time.
While the actors and performers play a very public role in the Spraoi Festival and Parade, there's a large crew behind the scenes, building the props, floats and big dramatic pieces.
It's a real mixture of skills and craftsmen. Like, you know, I mean, a couple of lads here now would have been originally would have worked as cutters and stuff in the glass factory, or carpenters, or welders, or engineers. So all them skills are needed, obviously. But then you need there's another couple of people like who are artists and painters and makers and stuff. So it's about marrying all those skills and finding where everybody can feed into what everybody else is doing. So you might be working on a piece. You might take it to a certain stage, you know, with the metal work and stuff like that, and then you'd hand it over to someone who's just a little bit more knacky with fabrics or paints or things like that. So it's about bringing all these skills together. And there's an awful lot of repetitive work as well. So even if you're not artistic, you know what I mean, or don't feel yourself to be artistic, there's still loads of work we can give you. Yeah, it's solid smart ply, because smart ply are very good to us. They give us a load of timber, so, you know, you use what you have. It's beautiful texture though, it's like porcelain when it's been carved down. Do you know what I mean? I really like it. So when we get a final sand and varnished and just get it done, I think it'd be a really nice piece. Not very light, but it'd be a beautiful piece.
In 2003, Spraoi moved into a purpose-built premises in Waterford, a far cry from the early days when they worked out of a warehouse on the quay.
Very fortunately, Waterford City Council at the time had the foresight to grant us this site, and we went ahead and kind of built a specialist building for this type of work. It's made a huge difference because we moved in here in 2003, and because of the scale of facilities we have here, we were able to think bigger, we were able to be more ambitious, and 2 years later, in 2005, we opened European Capital of Culture in Cork. With a dramatic show on the River Lee. So that was the scale we had gone to, and that's partly as a result of having the studio space here to imagine big, to have big ambition, and to be able to take on the big shows. We've done an array of stuff in pretty much every city in the country since then.
If you notice there, the lights, the red and white for Cork.
That's definitely here on the street.
Building a successful street theatre company takes vision, time, talent, energy and money. And the woman that controls the purse strings is financial controller Niamh Colbert.
I got involved in around 1999 on what was a FAW scheme at the time, Millennium Arts and Culture scheme, and I did that for 2 years. My background was actually in art, in fine art. Then I did some arts administration, and then I came back to Spraoi, and I kind of got into this role and into this side of the operations. Well, it means all the boring stuff that's involved here in Spraoi. It's all the paperwork, it's all the money, it's all the invoices, it's paying all the bills and all that kind of stuff. And make sure that we stay here, stay open, keep our lights on and keep all our creative stuff going. No, I enjoy the work, I do, and I enjoy that it's able to facilitate what we make here and what we do here. So I mean, it's not the prettiest of jobs, but somebody has to do it.
The costumes are designed and handmade on site by former graphic designer Claire Horgan and her team.
Well, this costume is for a fantastic float called the Lady Firefly. And it is a girl who is on an enormous lift and has huge wings, and she's very elegantly fluttering over the reed beds, which are part of the parade. I've been here about nearly 20 years, almost 20 years I'd say, and then I met T.V. Honan in a pub, and he asked me did I still sew, and I said I did, because both sides of my family sew. My father was a military tailor and my mother is an upholsteress. So there would be a huge family tradition of sewing. So, and I had a sewing machine, which was crucially important back in the early days because I think I was the only person who did. So I got the first job working with Spraoi, and it was a little bit crazy in the early days. We were on that big, huge shed on the quay there, but we somehow used to manage to get parades out of it, you know, so it was fun. I do have a fantastic team this year. I have absolutely A team. And myself, Denise Colbert, and I have my fantastic volunteers, Sarah Fanning and Trish Murphy, who are here, and then we have other volunteers who come in from time to time to help out.
The grand finale of the 3-day festival is the Spraoi Parade, and this year the theme is the River Shore.
Well, because we're 25 years old, it's like that journey, I suppose, from the source to sea, from where we began to where we are now. It's all a nice symmetry. We have a beautiful large swan. We're going to have a kind of a big, what we're calling the disco fish, who's the finale of the parade, you know what I mean? We have a beautiful salmon, we have mayflies, we have stone arch bridges, willow trees, we have beautiful frogs and ducks and all that, otters, we have, you know, reed beds, boats, all that kind of thing that comes in from as you journey down the river, for sure.
And because it's their 25th anniversary, the pressure is building.
It's a massive milestone for us, like, you know what I mean? And it's almost like a double-edged sword. In one sense, it's like it's brilliant to celebrate it and be there. But as everybody's expecting something really spectacular, well, it's your 25 years, you must be going to pull out all the stops and stuff, you know? So it puts a bit of pressure on you, you know what I mean, to try and live up to that, people's expectations and stuff, but we're doing our best.
One of the great strengths of Spraoi is the community involvement and the large number of volunteers who take part every year.
There's hardly a family in Waterford at this stage that hasn't had a workmate, a son, a daughter, a mother or a father involved over the 25 years. And indeed, Mike Leahy reminded me the other day, you know, the cumulative audience for the Spraoi Parade alone over those 25 years is now touching probably anywhere between 500,000 and 750,000 people. Now that's a fantastic result for a small arts organisation that started out in 1993 with kind of no money, but just a lot of ideas and huge amount of enthusiasm. And maybe it's a little kind of beacon for other people to roll up their sleeves, and because I think, without being boastful about it, I think we've shown what can be done by being creative, by being ambitious, and by sticking together and working as a community.
So have you got a real job now?
I think I have a real job at this stage. I've been kind of doing this one for about 30 years at this stage, and my mum is still alive, and I think she's very happy. She'll be very happy when she sees me on Nationwide.
Happy 25th birthday to all the crew involved in Spraoi, and here's to another successful 25 years. We're going to take a break now, but when we come back in a few minutes, we'll be telling you about the recently opened Waterford Greenway, which is proving so popular with people from the area and from further afield. We'll see you in a few minutes.